Hello, everybody. Welcome to another monthly live. I am so excited to be here with you guys. Before I get started, I want to have you guys put in the chat box before I start talking. Okay, please let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. Type one in the chat box if you can hear and if you can see me before we get started, because it's going to be juicy and I don't want y'all to miss any of these amazing golden nuggets. So type one in the chat box before we get started. Thank you so much for being here. For the people who do not know who I am, my name is Keandra Jackson. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist based here out of Los Angeles, California. I am an award-winning speaker, best-selling author, and TV and media personality. And I'm just so excited that you're here on my channel. Okay, for the people who's watching the replay, hey y'all. I'm excited for this topic today. This has been a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. So for the people who don't know who I am, okay, we are going to get into the nitty gritty of this thing. Today, we're going to be talking about how to manage being single during the holiday season. We're going to go over 5 things. You can call them tips, strategies, whatever you want to call them, that's going to help you manage this relationship status in this holiday season, right? And then also too, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to take some polls, and at the end of this live, we are going to do a live Q&A. So if you have questions, anything burning on the inside of you that you want to ask me, you're going to have your opportunity at the end of this. So make sure you stay tuned. Now, I promised y'all that I will continue to go live every month, at least once a month. And so I've been making that promise. I've been keeping that promise. We talked about toxic family members around Thanksgiving. We talked about all different types of things. But if you guys want a specific topic for January, put in the comment section what you think or what you want January's live topic to be, because I want this information to be catered towards what you want and not necessarily what I want you to want. Okay. So I'm talking about this because it is a very hot topic all over social media. If you didn't know, Christmas is next week. Listen, I don't even understand or know how this year flew by so fast. I can't even believe we're about to be in 2024. This is absolutely insane and crazy to me. But yet we're here. So next week is Thanksgiving, essentially. And I know a lot of us, even if you don't technically celebrate Christmas or you do Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, whatever it is that you are celebrating, you're probably going to be spending some quality time with your family members, with your friends, with some loved ones, and some people that really care about you. But there's been this thing on social media where people are saying, I can't wait to show up to Christmas dinner or Christmas breakfast with my matching pajamas with my boo, right? Like, that's why I titled this, if you've been seeing the flyer all over social media, I titled this No Matching Pajamas. For this very reason, right? Because there's going to be a whole bunch of people, and probably you included, because that's why you're on this live right now, who won't have matching pajamas because they don't technically have a relationship, right? Or a dating or somebody to pull up for them and with them at Christmas. And so I know that there's going to be one or more of your loved ones that's going to be hitting you with all of the different questions. Why aren't you married? Are you dating somebody? When you gonna get married? Why don't you have somebody at Christmas dinner or Christmas breakfast? Why didn't you bring a date? When are you gonna have kids? Like, all of these questions get asked time and time again. And while I think a lot of our loved ones may be well-meaning and they just want, the best for you, so to speak, it can be very exhausting. It can be very draining. It can be very annoying to get and hear those questions over and over and over and over and over again, especially if you are in a place where you're not managing your own relationship status, your own singleness well. It can put you in a place where you feel some type of way, right? So we are going to take, for the people who are on here, live, we are going to take a quick little poll. So as I am setting this thing up, okay, because I got to type in the poll questions. The poll is typically, or is going to be, What is your current relationship status? Now, I know this might be a kind of a weird question because you're probably like, girl, I'm on here because I'm single. Like, what are you talking about? This is the whole point of this live. But there might be somebody on here who, may not be technically single. They may be dating. They may be in a relationship. They may be what I would call a situationship because that's a whole thing as well. Or, you might be married on here. You might be watching this information because you are going to be around some of your single friends and you want to know how to manage them. You want to know how to help them. So there's going to be a number of you guys on here that are going to have different relationship status. And as I am finishing up this poll, I want you to really think about what your status is. Okay. And feel free to take the poll. So I just found out that for the people who are not live with me, and if you're watching the replay, you don't technically have access to the polls, right? So I want you to chat or put it in the comment section. What is your current relationship status? Are you single? Are you single but dating? Because that's a different category. You could be single. Like, baby, I ain't got no prospect. I ain't dating nobody. I'm single. Or you can be single and dating. So that means you're getting to know somebody. You're going on dates. You may be dating multiple people. You might be in a situationship, meaning I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. It's chaotic over here. It's cray. It's ghetto. Or you could be in a committed relationship, or even you can be married. And I didn't put the married option on here because I only have so many characters. It only let me put so many words, okay, and letters in the chat box. So, hey, Chrissy, thank you so much for joining. You're single. I'm also currently single too, just as a full disclaimer. I'm currently single. So I'm hitting this not only from a professional standpoint, because you guys know that I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, but I'm also hitting this from a personal perspective. So don't think that I'm just talking to y'all, just giving these tips. I know exactly how it feels to be in a state of singleness or a phase of singleness in your life while seeing other people be booed up. They got their matching pajamas on, they pulling up for Christmas, all of the social media stuff, which we're going to talk about today, and it can make you feel away, right? So thank you so much for taking the poll. Some people are saying that they're single 50% of y'all are saying single, and 50% of y'all are also saying dating. So I'm glad that y'all are open to meeting new people and trying to change that relationship status from single to booed up, committed, married, whatever your long-term goals are. So this conversation is going to be a little bit, hey, the Say Life coach. Chrissy says currently in a friends with benefits situation. Whoa, this is spicy. I don't know if you're going to stay to the end, but we're going to talk about this, okay? We're going to talk about it. So this conversation is going to be a little bit what I would call like twofold. So you're going to be able, or you're going to have to know how to handle and manage your own feelings, how you feel about your own relationship status, how you feel about being single, right? But then too, it's also how you manage other people that's going to be in your business during Christmas, okay? That's going to be all up in your tea. That's going to be asking you, Chrissy, what's up? Where's the man that you got benefits with? Where he at? What you doing? Like that is going to be the name of the game. So we're going to hit this from two different angles. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is fully surrendering. And when I wrote this first thing, I was like, they probably not gonna be feeling me on this, but I'm gonna tell y'all anyway. Relationship statuses change all the time. Seasons change all the time. Emotions, feelings, and situations change all the goddamn time. And because things are ever evolving, ever changing, and shifting all the time, I don't want us to get so stuck in a season of our life that's typically probably only temporary. And we feel it like, well, it's me. Oh my God, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. Nobody love me. Nobody ever going to want to choose me and be with me. And if you keep thinking that way, that's what your reality is going to be essentially, right? So you have to shift your mindset and know, like, look, I know that I might be single now. I know that I might be in a friends with benefits situation now. I might be in a situationship now. I've been single for a long time now, but baby, my man is coming. My woman is coming. I am here for this. My situation is going to change. I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. Good men exist. Good women exist. You have to change your mindset because you can't attract the thing that you're repelling. I am preaching the Say Life. This is a pass the collection plate around here, okay? You cannot attract the thing that you're repelling. So you can't say, I want to be married. I want this loving man and he's amazing. But then you don't think that good man exists. Make it make sense, right? So I want you guys to understand that this too shall pass. I don't know nobody, unless they choose singleness, that's single for the rest of their life. Nobody. Even if you a single, rich, got a million cats, if that's the lifestyle that you choose, then cool. That's on you. But I don't know anybody that has been single indefinitely. At some point, somebody gonna have a boo. You're gonna start liking somebody gonna start liking you. Something's going to happen. So we have to move from woe is me mentality to acceptance. I'm single right now, but this is temporary, boo. We literally just had a party at my house. This past weekend? It was like a Christmas party / pajama party / my mama's birthday party. It was a whole lot going on, but my cousins were also there on my dad's side. And my cousin was like, this is the last year that I'm going to be single. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Me too, girl. This is the last year that I'm going to be single. She was like, next year we're going to have our men, at Christmas. And I was like, yeah, this is a great perspective to have. Hey, D, this is such a great perspective to have because you have to be optimistic and hopeful, right? Because if you don't, then you're going to put yourself in a whole different type of situation, which we're going to also talk about as well. So acceptance, freedom, understanding that, and I'm not going to get too much into this, but having a phase of singleness is kind of a gift. I know it don't feel like it because we get lonely and all of those things, but baby, all of my married friends and all of my friends that got kids, they don't have the time freedom and the flexibility and to get up and do what I can do. They don't have that. And they look at me like, dang, I'm living vicariously through you. But just understand that this season is a gift. I recently did this video on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't watched the video, go watch it. It's called Embracing Your Journey, right? Embracing the no longer, but not yet. I'm preaching again. The no longer, right? We're in this no longer like, the past is the past. That ain't really cracking no more. But also the not yet. So the thing that we want or desire hasn't come yet. So we're in this in-between stage, right? How do we become content with what's happening in between here? When we in between blessings, we in between partners, we in between jobs, or fill in the blank, whatever that is for you. So we have to get comfortable with that acceptance, that freedom, and just really that self-love, which we're going to talk about as well. The second thing is we got to stay away from social media. Let me get closer to that. We got to stay away from social media. Now you get to pick and choose what your level of engagement with social media is going to be in this season, right? You might have to be the one that's saying, you know what, Christmas is pulling up, New Year's is pulling up. I can't be on social media like that because everybody and their mama gonna be posting they booze and they dates and kissing under the little mistletoe. Like they're gonna be doing all of this and it's going to make you feel a type of way. So if you're somebody who knows like, nah, this is too much for me, I'm not gonna be able to handle it. This is going to put me in a state of depression. I'm not going to be able to do it, then you might just want to pull back a little bit on social media. And I'm talking about all the platforms, okay? Especially Instagram, because that's where they be doing the most, right? And you're going to see all of that. So think about disengaging or limiting your social media if you know that this is going to trigger you in this season because you're single. This also goes for those movies. I know y'all been seeing them little Hallmark movies, them little Lifetime movies with the little cute little love story of, they finding love at Christmas. And like, if that's going to trigger the heck out of you, do not watch that, right? So don't engage in the things that you know is going to trigger the heck out of you. Set boundaries, set limitations around that thing, because if not, you gonna find yourself in a very vicarious situation. And I know y'all love the little Christmas movies of Hallmark, but I'm just keeping it real with y'all, because what it does, it puts you in a state or a place of comparison. Oh, on that little movie that wasn't even about real life, they met and they fell in love and they walked happily ever after into the sunset, and they had 2.5 kids and they had a picket white fence and they were rich and they traveled the world. Like, chill. Nine times out of 10, that ain't realistic, right? Like, these little movies is cute, but it might do something to you internally. So make sure that you focus on what you do have versus what you don't have. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Make sure you focus on the things that you do have versus the things that you don't have. It's easy to be like, I don't have nobody, this sucks. And it's valid to feel those feelings. We're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. But also, too, think about all of the wonderful things you do have. You do have loved ones. You do have people who care about you. You do have family. You do have friends. You got income. You got a job. You got a roof over your head. You got clothes on your back. Like, there are certain things that you just need to be in a state of gratitude and gratefulness and thankfulness, because it could be different. It could be real different. So moving on to the third. Woo! Let's move on to the third one. The third one, I wish somebody was putting this in the comment section for the people that's still on here. First one is surrender. For the people who are going to watch the replay, the first one is surrender. The second one is to limit your social media and them Lifetime Hallmark movies. Okay. The third one is to set boundaries. Y'all know I couldn't talk about family with all the questions that they're going to give you without talking about boundaries, y'all. Boundaries, if you don't know what that is, boundaries are those invisible lines that we set for ourselves and other people. We have boundaries around, or you should, okay, because not everybody is good with boundaries. You should have boundaries around your time, around your money, around your sleep, around your food, around your engagement with other people. We really have boundaries around everything. And the key is to set boundaries and keep the boundary. Set your boundary and don't be wishy-washy and going back on your word, because then people are not going to take you serious. And then you're going to wonder why, oh my God, why does this person always treat me so bad and they never respect me? It's because of you. You allow them to do that. You teach people how to treat you. So boundaries are important, because listen, people are going to ask you those questions that I talked about in the beginning. When you going to have kids? Why didn't you bring anybody to Christmas dinner? Why aren't you married? Are you dating? Where that man that you in a situationship with? Where the man that you got friends with benefits with? All of these questions. And to be honest with you, you're going to have to get enough strength on the inside of you to tell people to mind their business. I know y'all don't like that, because if it's your mama, your grandma, your auntie, or somebody that's kind of, at a higher little ranking in your family or whatever, you're like, oh, I can't tell my mom that. I'm not saying to literally tell them to mind their business, even though you could, okay? But what I am saying is we need to find a creative way to get them to get out of your business. So that could potentially mean that you're throwing that same question back on them. Well, when are you going to have kids? When you going to take care of the kids you do got? When you going to stop sleeping around and settle down, right? Like, you can flip the script and allow the question to be turned back on them. You can also answer the question with poise, with confidence, not giving negative energy at all. You can say something along the lines of like, I haven't found God's best for me yet. Oh, that's good. I'm going to let y'all steal that one. Y'all can have that one for free. I'm single right now because I haven't found God's best for me yet. Who going to combat that? Who going to say something after that, right? So coming up with a creative way to answer the question without any attitude, without any negativity, and just responding to them if you feel comfortable. You don't have to, but I think I would do that. That's a great way to set boundaries. And also, kind of like I mentioned already, just be optimistic, right? You have to set boundaries and go into this family interaction being hopeful that it ain't going to turn negative. Because if somebody say something to you, cray, and then you going to say something to them back, cray, it's going to blow up, right? And then Christmas dinner, Christmas breakfast, whatever y'all have, it's going to be an epic freaking nightmare, right? So managing your own emotions is key. If you know you're going to get mad and turned up, do some deep breathing, walk around the block, take a break from the person, and go in another room. Do whatever you have to do. Hey, Jenny, thank you so much for being here. Jenny says, I'm married, but I want to make sure I don't make my single friend. This is so good. I literally said this before you hopped on. I said there's going to be a lot of people on here who is married or who may be in a committed relationship, but they will be around people who might be single, right? And they want to know how to navigate this conversation. So I appreciate you so much, Jenny, for always showing up, being thoughtful, kind, for getting all of my books, for sharing them. You're like one of my number one subscribers and followers. I'm here for you. So anyways, be optimistic, right? Because you never know what is going to go on. If you need to take a break, if you need to step away, if you need some deep breaths, if you need a shot, I'm not going to condone getting drunk, but if you need a little glass of wine to calm down, whatever you need to do that as long as it's healthy, as long as you're going to be able to manage yourself and it's not going to get out of hand. So are y'all ready for another poll? I need for y'all to give me some comments. I mean, I see people on here, but we like engagement. Y'all know I'm high energy. Let me know if you guys are ready to take another poll. The next poll that we are going to take right now is really going to be, I got to end the last poll. So we're going to end the last poll so you guys can see the results on there. 33%, it's been 30, 33, 33, 33. 33% of people said they're single. 33% of y'all said y'all dating. 33% said y'all in a situationship. Okay. Nobody said they were in a relationship besides Jenny. We know Jenny came a little bit late after the poll, but Jenny is married. Okay. So let's take our next poll. The next poll is all about how do you feel about being alone on Christmas? Like, it's about the feelings. I originally asked you guys about just your relationship status in general, but now I want to get into like how y'all feel. And I want you to be for real honest, right? Because this is what this is all about. I also can't see who says what, so it's not like, woo, she gonna know I said I was happy. She gonna know I can't see who says what. So just be honest with yourself. But also, too, this is a real candid conversation that a lot of people need to have. And also, too, man, you just never know who, I'm typing it in. Sorry, y'all, it's taking forever. But you never know who's in the same boat as you, right? Sometimes when we're going through things, we think that we're alone. We think that we are by ourselves. And a lot of the times, that's not true. There's a whole bunch of other people who are experiencing exactly what we're experiencing, and we're not alone at all. So I want us to be a little happy little family. Tell me, how does being single on Christmas make you feel? Does that make you feel happy? Like, yeah, I'm single, hey, for whatever reason. Maybe you just got divorced, or you're content with, being single. Are you sad about it? Like, man, I feel down, depressed. Like, seeing other people makes me feel a type of way. Are you crying? Or, going through all of those emotions? Are you mad? Like, are you pissed? Like, man, I can't believe I'm single again. How does that make you feel? Or are you just annoyed? Like, I just can't even deal with the fact that this is happening again to me. So take the little poll so I can see. For the people who's watching the replay again, put in the comment section, how do you feel on Christmas? Happy, sad, angry, or annoyed? There's a whole bunch of emotions, other emotions that I could have added here. But again, we only have limited characters and spaces for the polls. So as of right now, 100% of you guys are saying that you guys feel sad about that. And I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you keeping it real, because we don't always have to put on this mask and this fake facade being like, oh, I'm so strong, I'm so happy, I never get sad. And the truth of the matter is you do, right? And so thank you for taking that poll. The next thing that I want to talk to you guys about, which is number 4. So we already talked about surrendering. We talked about limiting your social media and your Hallmark movies. We talked about setting boundaries. But now let's talk about, for number 4, is self-love. And I know when we talk about singleness, we're always like, just focus on you, get your money right, get your mind right, get your weight game on, like make sure you good physically. We always talk about those things. And I believe that you should work on yourself when you're single. That's the best time to work on yourself, is when you don't have all of these other obligations. But we also forget that you can have self-love and still desire partnership at the same time, right? Like those two things are not mutually exclusive. Like, oh, you have one or the other, but it's like you can have self-love and be working on yourself mentally, spiritually, financially, relationally, all of those things, but also still desire partnership. Also still desire companionship. And that's perfectly fine. So love on yourself during this holiday season, just like you buy Christmas gifts for other people, for your family members, for your coworkers, for your colleagues, for your employees. If you're a business owner, make sure you get yourself something too. I have been implementing this for the last few years, where I was like, okay, if I'm gonna get all these other people gifts, I'm gonna at least get myself something that I really, really, really wanted all year long, right? I'm gonna throw in a gift for myself, because why not, right? Like I am one of the most important things. So making sure that you buy yourself gifts and you do the same things that you would do for other people that you do for yourself. The way that you go out of the way to help other people. People are so much more kind and generous during the holiday season, and giving and loving. If you're going to do all of that for other people, make sure you get that back to yourself too. Do it for yourself too. I can promise you and guarantee you that you're going to feel a lot better. So whatever that is for you, whether it's a gift, whether it's something that you weren't able to afford and you're finally able to afford it and you're going to get it for yourself for Christmas, whether that's a massage, a mani, a pedi, a shirt, a jacket. I got these earrings. This wasn't a Christmas gift, but these are some earrings that I have been seeing all the little influencers wear on social media. And I'm like, oh, I want these earrings. So I got these in gold and silver. It's just the little small things that you can do for yourself to make you excited. So number 4 is self-love, and that can be also inclusive of self-care. The last one before we get into a live Q&A. So if you got questions, make sure that you are, about to add, that they're bubbling up and you know what you want to say. The last one and the next one is work on your own stuff. Work on your own ish. I wouldn't be a licensed therapist if I did not tell y'all that a lot of the things and the way that we feel about our relationship status, especially if you are single, obviously, is from some deep-rooted stuff that we haven't taken care of. Now, I'm not saying that this applies to everybody, but there is a lot of people on here and people that I have dealt with and a whole bunch of my other subscribers as well, who need to go to therapy, need to read some books, need to go through some courses. They need to do something that is going to put them in a healthier space and a healthier time with themselves. Because if not, you're just going to bleed. When you do get into a relationship, you're just going to bleed on the other person. All of your unhealed areas, all of your trauma, all of the things that you've been running from and not working through, you're just going to put that on the other person. And then that's probably going to cause discord in the relationship. And maybe it can make it not work. Right? So we want to work through as much of our own ish as possible early on. So when we do get into that relationship, it's as healthy as possible. Not perfect, but as healthy as possible. So deal with the root cause of stuff. Why do you feel sad? Right? Because we're talking about the poll that we just took. Why do you feel sad about being single? It's a real genuine question. You ain't got to put in the type. I ain't gonna be all in your business, but this is an internal question that I want you to ask yourself. Why do you even feel sad about being single? Is it because you're not over your ex? Yes, we're going there. Is it because you're not over your ex? Is it because you think you're ugly and that nobody wants you? Is it because you're jealous of other people's relationship? When you see them happy and in relationship and married with kids, are you jealous? Is it because you got mommy issues? Ooh. Is it because you got daddy issues? Is it because you have a hard time receiving love from other people and you have this block and this wall up? And no matter if the man or the woman of your dreams came to you today, you wouldn't be able to receive them because they got to break through all of the brick walls just to get to your heart? Do you have a fear of letting people, like, these are all genuine questions that I want you guys to think about, because a lot of us are not content in our singleness because of some deep stuff, right? Is there some rejection there where you felt like, man, I wanted a particular person, or I thought they wanted me, and now they said that they didn't, and now I feel a type of way, I don't feel worthy. These are all real things that you have to think about. And this all plays into your relationship status, how you show up on Christmas, how you show up in general, even when it ain't Christmas, okay? Because being single is a real thing out here. You know, I've been hearing people say, like, the dating pool sucks, it got pee in it, you know, all of those things. And if you think that way about the dating, well, it kind of does a little bit too. Woo! Okay, it's a different landscape. I'll just say that. But if you think that way, it's going to be harder for you to attract the person that you're supposed to attract. So as you guys are typing in your questions for our live Q&A, because it's time for our live Q&A, I want to just do a quick recap and end this poll here so you guys can see what other people had to say. So for the people who are just now popping in, 50% of the people said that they are happy about being single. I would love to hear what that person has to say. The other 50% of people said that they were sad about being single. Nobody said that they were angry, and nobody said that they were annoyed, right? So while we are getting into our live Q&A, feel free to type in your questions. Feel free to type in anything that you might want to say, any comments, so we can just have a real dialogue. But to recap for the people who just hopped in, or people who are watching the replay, or who came late, we talked about 5 different strategies and ways for you to manage yourself during Christmas because you're single, right? First one was to surrender. Okay, let it go. Acceptance, freedom is the name of the game. The second one is to limit your social media and your little Hallmark Lifetime Christmas movies, because that can be triggering. The third one was to set boundaries with yourself and with other people, and have a comeback when people ask you those questions about when you get married, when you're having kids, all of those questions. The fourth one is to have self-love. The way you love on yourself, the way you love on other people, make sure you're loving on yourself as well. Number 5 is to work through your own ish. Okay. Therapy, books, courses, figuring out the root cause of why you're feeling so sad, or feeling the blank emotion, is really important. So let me look in the comment section so we can start our live Q&A. Y'all know, okay, getting me live and in color is a gift, because your girl be charging invoices. She be sending invoices for her time and her energy for questions being answered. Okay, people slide in my DMs all the time. I'll be like, I do not answer questions in my DM. I'm so sorry. So Jenny says, in the past, I felt super awkward when I was single at the holidays. I'd probably fall into the sad category too. And that's understandable. By the way, Jenny is currently married. And so she was saying in the past, when she was single, she would feel awkward. And I think that that's a really kind of like a normal feeling to have, especially if there's so many other couples and people in relationships that are there, and they may be playing games, or hugged up, or cuddled up, or holding hands, or, you know, doing coupley things, and you don't have anyone to do that with. It can put you in a space where you're just like, oh, this is kind of weird. I don't know if I want to be here. I kind of want to leave. You know, like, you start thinking of all of these different things, and it's common. It's normal. It's understandable, right? But now look at you, Jenny. Now you're currently married. Jenny is a great example of what I was just talking about earlier, right? Literally saying this too shall pass. Literally saying that nobody who is single, unless they choose to be long-term, is going to be single for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? So Jenny was single in a season of her life, and she felt awkward at Christmas parties and holidays and all of those things. But now sis is married. Okay, so look how things shift. Remember, I talked about season shift, relationship shift, circumstances shift, and it won't always be like this. Okay. D says, I have learned how to enjoy being single during the holidays, plan fun activities, for myself. I love that, right? Like, I'm one of the people who enjoy being alone in general. So I don't mind being at home, chilling. I'll cook my own little meal and just be doing whatever I want to do. But being single gives you that flexibility, kind of like what I talked about earlier, right? Where, especially if you don't have any children, where you can kind of get up and go, you can travel, you can do fun activities by yourself or invite another friend. Like, you can just do different things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do if you were partnered, or at least not do them as easily, because you got to check in with somebody else, see what their availability is, and if they wanted, like, all of those things. So I do think that being single during the holidays can be a gift if you really see it from that perspective. The other thing, before I get into the other comments here, is sometimes for the people who have been single for too long, we get too comfortable. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? It's like we want a relationship, we want to be booed up, but we've been single for so long that we kind of set in our ways, that we're kind of like, nah, I don't know if I want to spend my time like that. I don't know if I want to check in with somebody. I don't know. Like, we have to be aware of that as well, because we can get so set in our ways that when somebody does come into our life, we don't know how to merge the two worlds together. We don't know how to blend and be like, okay, let's figure this thing out, right? Because we're so used to being away, and they're so used to being away, that it's hard to figure out how we can blend those things together. Jenny says it can be a good time to meet new. Ooh, come on, Jenny. This is a good time. What about those Christmas parties or those holiday parties where there's going to be other single people there? Because not all events, we have to think about it. Not all events will consist of just other couples, right? There's going to be some other single individuals. They may or may not be fine or may not be attractive to you, but there's going to be other single people there, depending on where you go, right? And so that might be a way, like Jenny said, to meet new people. And you might just find your boo at a Christmas party and a Christmas shindig, because you was feeling single and alone, and you wind up meeting someone there. So that's a great point. I love that you mentioned that. Christy says, I definitely do have to work on my own ish. I do so much for others that when it's time for me, I feel terrible when it's not reciprocated. Woo, that's real good, right? So I think, and that's okay to know, we all got ish to work on. I'm a whole therapist and I got ish to work on. Okay, I'm going to forever have ish to work on. If people try to show up and be acting perfect, they lying, right? Like, we all have our work, but the thing is that you're aware of it. You're self-aware enough to know, like, ooh, this is something I got to work on. When it's not reciprocated, I feel a type of way. I need to learn how to prioritize myself as well. Maybe you need to get stronger at saying no. Like, these are all things that we need to consider. And while we talk about Chrissy was the one that said, I'm telling all your business. I don't even know Chrissy like that. But Chrissy was the one that said that she's in a friends with benefits type situation. So I'm wondering how that's going to work out and play out during the holiday season, because this is a thing that we haven't talked about, which we're going to talk about right now, is that when you're not technically in a relationship with someone, or a committed relationship, or married to them, you don't really have the obligation to anything about them. You don't have the obligation to get them any gifts. You don't have the obligation to have them come to visit your family, or you go and be hanging out with their friends and family. You don't technically have those obligations, right? So I'm wondering for y'all, like, how y'all are figuring this whole thing out. I know y'all friends with benefits, right? Like, y'all getting it cracking. Hey, and doing what needs to be done. But I know that can be a little tricky to navigate, especially if somebody is starting to have a little bit more feelings for the other person. Yeah, because that happens a lot too. We'll be like, I'm fine with friends with benefits, and then you start catching feelings. And now you're like, whoa, I really like this person, but this wasn't the original agreement. That's a whole thing. Jenny says, I felt even more awkward when I was with the wrong person. Ooh, at the holidays. That's Jenny. You speaking my language, Jenny, because you know I'm big on making sure that you're with the right person, right? It's cool to have fun and dibble dabble and have a little sex here and do whatever you're going to do if that's what you prefer to do. But when you're not with the person that you're supposed to be with, they're either going to Now, I'll just say this: when you're with the person and they're not the person that you're supposed to be with, they will probably pull you further, further, further away from your destiny and your purpose. When you're with the right person that you're supposed to be with, the God-given purpose, your purpose mate, they typically push you and propel you to greatness, right? So if you are seeing and you're in a relationship with someone, whether it's dating, situationship, whatever, friends with benefits, whatever, and you're finding that you kind of are not being how you used to be, doing the things that you used to do, you don't have the desire and the drive that you used to have, you're getting off track, that's an indicator that you need to pause and reevaluate. Okay. Jenny says fun activities that you enjoy are great ways to meet like-minded other singles. True. D says I plan so many fun activities for this month. Favorite shows. I love this. I love this so much. Jenny says D says make a list. And then Jenny also says I have to drop for dinner. But thank you so much for the great advice. No problem. Thank you so much for hopping in and tuning in and joining us. So I just wanted to thank you guys for coming on here. I hope something that I said was helpful to you. Again, I am going to be going live at least once a month, every month. And so if you want to chime in on what the topic is going to be for January, put it in the comment section because your topic might be the topic that we talk about. Okay. And then let me know what y'all want to do for February, March, and so on and so forth. I want these lives to be all about y'all. I don't want to pull up and talk about the things that I want to talk about. Chrissy says, before we hop off, what Chrissy said? Chrissy says, yes, I'm catching a little. Chrissy says she catching feelings. Ooh, this is juicy. This is tea. I feel like this is tea. Chrissy says, I'm just so extra right now. Chrissy says, yes, I'm catching a little feelings, but I believe it's because of the intimacy. Thanksgiving passed and he spent time with his family and I did the same. I'm assuming it will be the same for Christmas. Right. So I knew somebody was going to catch feelings, right? Because it's very rare, and I mean very rare, that someone can start off with a friends with benefits situation and you guys are both fine with that. And then you guys are engaging in some type of sexual intimacy and somebody doesn't catch feelings, especially if you are a woman. We are just naturally more emotional beings. The more we connect with someone physically, I really do believe that we have that attachment and that emotional connection with them. Men, if you're in a heterosexual relationship, men can just smash and dash. They can have sex with no connection, no feelings, none of the things, and be like, deuces. And also a lot of women are starting to do that as well. So it's interesting how things are shifting. And I think that there isn't anything wrong with that, but I do want you to have a dialogue with that person about how y'all gonna manage Christmas, okay? But also too, let him know that you're starting to catch a little bit of, I know this might be scary to do because you're gonna be like, ooh, what if he don't have the same feelings as me? How is this going to work? The sex might be good and I don't want that to end. So I understand all of that. But also, too, you got to be real with yourself. That's the biggest thing. One of the things that I think we're doing wrong in relationships is not being truthful, not stating our truths, not being honest, right? Because when you are honest, you allow yourself the freedom, but you also can allow that person to choose whatever it is that they want to do. So I would say something along the lines of like, hey, boo. So I know we've been having this friends with benefits situation and it's been going great. I enjoy having sex with you. I love this vibe. I love this energy. I'm here for it. I know we typically probably wouldn't, be catching feelings, but I kind of think I'm starting to have a little bit of feelings for you or to you. And then just leave it at that and just see what the other person says. How do we know that he don't have feelings for you too? And then what? It could be a love situation. You could be like, oh, I done found my person, Or he could be like, you know what? That wasn't the original agreement. I'm out of here, deuces. Or he can be like, you know what? I can see how that's happening. I understand. But we can continue to do what we do. And there won't be any changes there. So it depends on how you want to navigate it, but I tend to land on the air of caution and be honest about my feelings and my emotions. And then whatever is supposed to happen after that is supposed to happen. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to another live monthly topic. Here we have the opportunity to talk about no matching pajamas, how to manage being single during Christmas. And I hope something that I have said, the strategies that I've provided, the questions that I've answered was helpful to you. If it was, please feel free to share this with a friend, a family member, another single person who probably needs to hear some of this information. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, stay connected on my channel. I have so many amazing videos about mental health, relationships, celebrity gossip, TV stuff, TV show reviews, movie reviews, so many amazing things on this channel. And so I'm just excited and happy that you have subscribed and that you trust me with your journey. So I hope you guys have an amazing night, and I will see y'all next month.